Oh, welcome back, legends. I know it's been a while, right? So I'm really sorry. It's just been run into Christmas, was super busy, loads going on, events, comedy nights. My birthday coincides with our Christmas party. And then, yeah, into Christmas, brew day before we closed up for Christmas. We got a Czech Pale Lager in tank. That's conditioned away now. It's been, when did we brew that? 15th of December. So that's what, so 6-7 weeks old. Now in tank, just starting to condition up really well. Hoping to have that ready for when we reopen at the beginning of March. Although it won't drop bright, which I'm a bit annoyed about at the moment. So I'm trying to think about solutions around that. Anyway, so if I'm honest, we've just been enjoying January. No tap room, no customers. Business is generally very slow in January anyway. Dry January, everyone's skint, and it's just wet and cold. And you know, what's this? This is I'm actually recording this for the second time on the 10th of Feb. I've actually recorded the beginning of this episode about a week ago, but when I came to edit it, it was all out of focus and all fuzzy. So hence the reason why there'll be a few inconsistencies from here on in. So please bear with. And so, yeah, we've just kind of enjoyed being closed in January and just not having a lot to do. But now we're getting ready for Feb and reopening in March. We've got beer festivals going on. We've got people inquiring about special events. We've got LCBF we're planning for. Chiller's just got going. So we've actually brewed 3 times now already this year. All the tanks are full. And now we're full-blown go on doing a few little updates and stuff around the tap room to get things ready to welcome people back in. And with that, there's one of the key things we're sort of bringing in with 2026, and that's cask beer. So we're actually going to start brewing our own cask beer from this year, and then it'll be available throughout, and we'll be making that available to trade. But one of the questions that came with that was, how are you going to be able to serve your cask beer in the tap room if you're making it? And actually, amongst ourselves, we've been talking about how we can serve it and all the challenges with the dispense requirements and all that sort of stuff. So this episode is all about how we're going to solve that problem and what we're going to start to do. So without further ado, let's get on to the episode and cut now back to me 7 days ago. And we'll take you through what I've been working on. So basically what we've got here, and I'll stand up in a sec, is we've got a nice brand new Handpull. So this is a Handpull that we are going to have our very own cask beer behind the Maverick bar on the tap room back here. And I'm going to show you what I'm planning on doing, and hopefully I'll kind of take you through the build process. But we've got some ideas. So yes. So here we've got a brand new Mason's cask Handpull. Now, I can stand it up a little bit in a sec just so you can see it, but this one is a little bit different. So this isn't a full-blown Handpull draw pump. This is a Handpull that's designed to work. It's got a check valve installed in it, a demand valve, I think is another word to use. So it's designed to be used with very, very lightly, tiny, pressurized containers. So in theory, you can still draw cask beer from, you know, like the bag and box type thing, and some of those other kind of options, as well as we're going to try, and in theory, there's no reason why this shouldn't work, do cask beer, but in corny kegs. So we're going to naturally prime it, just like we would do with cask beer. We're going to fine it. We're going to put it into the corny keg. We're going to let it condition under pressure, just like we would do normally with a cask. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to tap it and put it on tap with this, and then put a really, really light head pressure on the corny keg, so that when let me just stand this up, so that when we're drawing from this bad boy, and it is a beauty, when we draw from this bad boy, we're replacing the beer that's coming out with CO2. So the plan is we are going to have this bad boy set up over there behind the bar, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute. And we're going to have that corny keg in the cold room. We're hooked up to this, which will, and this was got, like I say, got the demand valve in it. So when we pull it, we'll be drawing pump, we'll be, sucking the beer out, coming through here through a sparkler, because I think a sparkler will be good. We've got the bits and pieces here that I'll show you in a second. And we should, from all the research I've done and people I've spoken to, and from my own kind of personal experience, we should achieve really good cask beer here in the tap room. Part of the reason for doing this is we're only our tap room that's open on a Friday and a Saturday, and we are not going to shift a 9-gallon cask in 2 days. It's just not going to happen. For as much as I'd love us to, hey, you never know, we might, but I don't think we will. What I don't want to do is be throwing away a 9-gallon cask every weekend, because that's just wasteful. So the idea with using a corny keg with that tiny little bit of gas pressure on top is, in theory, we'll seal this up, rinse the line out afterwards, or clean the line out after the end of the weekend. That beer should last a couple of weekends, because it's a sealed unit. We're not tapping it with a spile and oxygen going in every time you suck, beer out and you pour beer out. So the idea is that hopefully our beer should keep for those couple of weeks, or maybe it only needs to last 2 weekends. Obviously, the cask beer is going to be that bit cheaper. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be serving it in pint glasses, old school dimple pint glasses that I'm going to order in, because, I mean, if you're going to do cask, you might as well do it properly. Obviously, we're going to do some interesting Maverick styles. So, watch this space, and I'm sure we'll do some videos of that together. But that's the idea. So we're going to fit this behind. So I got this through Masons, direct through Masons, the website. This is Pint 365, I think is what it's called. Just a shade under 200 quid. So it's a little bit spenny. But I think it's going to be worth it. For the full experience and for the full theatre of pulling a handpull and doing some proper cask beer behind the bar. And also, we're not buying an older reconditioned one and then fitting a demand valve and mucking around. Everything is included, as you can see on the back. It's still got the pump, it will still be drawing. It's just got the demand valve built into it, and it's obviously new, so we've got a bit more confidence that it's going to work and do its job and all that sort of stuff. With the Pint 365, you get a number of things. Let me just get this out of the way a second. So you also get a length of insulated 3/8 hose. So this will come off the bottom of here through the cold room wall, which we'll explain in a second, and obviously into our corny keg. We've got a couple of different types of sparklers here that you get with it, which I think will be quite cool, actually, having the old sparklers. You've got one adapter for, I can't remember which one this is for. It's like the bag-in-box or something like that, I think, that it clips onto. This that goes on the bottom of the Pint 365, because it's got like just a normal like barb on it. And then we've got two inline adapters. So you've got one that will go on here, and then it'll swap it to 3/16, so you can push it through, and then a 3/16 or a converter on the other end if you need it to go bigger. I don't think we will. I've got loads and loads of spare fittings, so we should be all good. Obviously, the drip tray to go with it. So that is our Pint 365. One of the other things, because we've not done cask beer before, and I haven't been against it. It's just never felt like it's the right time to do it. Well, we're heading up to our 3rd birthday. With what we've learned about selling beer into trade, I do think now is the time to do it. So we've got Kirsty on board now. Kirsty's doing a great job in working around the brewery for me. I'm not here every single night till 11 or 12 o'clock at night. She's here during the week, during the day, which is great. And I'm currently sort of teaching her how to brew and brew my way. But one of the things we've really found is, particularly with how tight things are at the moment for a lot of pubs and bars, and I think everyone can agree the old cost of living and all that sort of stuff is really biting, particularly the business rates and all that sort of stuff from the government at the moment, or lack of help from the government. And macro, the number of breweries closing. Actually, interestingly, I saw a stat the other day. We lost 3 breweries a week. 3 breweries a week in 2025. Now that is absolutely shocking, and that just goes to show how tough it is out there. and how people should be supporting their local breweries and their local hospitality venue. But it's become hard, not become harder, it is hard selling your keg beer into bars. There's some that are brilliant. We've got a number of bars that have supported us wonderfully. And actually, when we do get in contact with bars and we explain who we are and what we're doing, they try our beers, they're like, great, yeah, we'll have some on a semi-regular basis, you know, because, you know, they want to have variety. They want to have other breweries and all that sort of stuff. But what we have found is there are those large numbers of pubs that just have those fixed keg lines. So they've got Beavertown and, you know, Peroni and all that other nonsense on keg. And they usually sign up to contracts. And it's cheap for them to buy. So I get it why they wouldn't want to go, you know, spending some money on a keg of our hoppy beer when they're already in a contract with AB InBev or whatever. And AB InBev and those sort of people are really, really tying these pubs down to keep people like us out. But the one thing that is open is that cask beer guest line. And in a lot of these pubs, they are able to take cask beer as a guest line. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that, do you know what? Let's make some great cask beer. Let's make some of the best cask beer we possibly can. Let's get it here in the tap room with big dimple jugs. But do you know what? Let's make some for trade as well. Let's get some of our beer out into some of the pubs that we won't normally get a chance to get any beer in. It's more work for us. The margins aren't as good, I guess, within reason on cask beer, because people have been trained because of Wetherspoons that, you know, cask beer is cheap. But it's more volume, it's more turnover, it's more work, gets our name out there more. And I think if we can do it well, I think it can be a real asset, a real kind of string to our bow in the brewery and what we do. So that's kind of why we're doing it. And I'm quite excited as well. It's a style I learnt when I first worked in a brewery many years ago. So I'm kind of really looking forward to kind of going back and seeing how we can play with it and what we can do with cask beer, I think. But comes with that, lots of other stuff you've got to buy. You know, we fill kegs at the moment, which we do by counter pressure filling, which I think we've shown you before. But, you know, I've had to buy a keg filling, a cask filling spear. So in this instance, so you got a little chamfered edge there that drops down into the cask, line to the bottom of the to the FE, and you open the valve, leave it in your cask, fill the thing all the way up, shut it, lift it out, put the next one in, bang your keystone and your shive in, and away you go. So we've had to spend money on all these funny other little bits and pieces just to start to build up to this. But you may ask, hang on a minute, you're going to put casks in your cold store that you run at about 6 degrees? That's not cellar temperature. How on earth are you going to do that? Well, we've thought about this, and this is part of the video of what I want to show you. So this is what we're going to do. We've gone old school. We've gone homebrew. So classic Facebook Marketplace, picked up a basically brand new full height larder fridge. I mean, this thing is literally brand new. I mean, it was never expensive new. But this thing, literally not a mark on it. It is absolutely perfect. 40 quid. I mean, really? Like, you'd buy this for your own kitchen. It's amazing. And perfectly, you can fit 4 corny kegs in this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go old school, because we want a cellar temperature 10, 11 degrees in here. We've got a cold store back here running at about 6.5. So what we're going to do, it's not quite an Inkbird, and actually this is quite an interesting one. I'm interested to test this out. So this is what Eli Tech. So I think I bought like an SC1000 copy by these guys. It is basically the same thing as the Inkbird. Temperature control, heat and cool, all that kind of good stuff. So we've got one of those, and then we've got the classic little tube heater, little 4-watt tube heater. So the idea here is, because we're going to be wanting to get this inside of here to cellar temperature, 11 degrees, what we're going to do is, because the plan is that the Handpull is going to go here, right next to all the other taps. I did think about adding more taps here during the closed period, but we've got 10 beers on tap. I mean, just adding more would just be adding more to give us more of a headache of making sure we've got 10 unique beers all the time. So actually, apart from maybe adding a Luca side pour tap, I think we're fine here. But here, oh yes, here we are going to add the Handpull. Now, I'll put you down in a minute and I'll just kind of we'll offer it up, and I've got some ideas about how we're going to kind of attach it some way, shape or form on here. I'm not quite sure yet, but I've got a few ideas. But the idea is the Handpull's going to go here. We'll be able to pull pints here. But you say, but what about the other side of the wall? And what about this new cellar fridge with the temperature control? But what we're going to do, come into my cold room. So the idea is, on the other side of this wall is where the Handpull's going to go. So the Handpull's going to kind of go round about here. Oh, there we go, round about here. So the idea is we're going to stick our cellar temperature fridge here. And because it's cold in the cold room, we don't need to run the fridge because it's going to naturally be cool in here. So actually all we're going to need is that heater just heating up that insulated box. So this 40 quid cheap fridge is basically just going to be an insulated box. We're going to stick it here with the heater. I've run in a power in here. I just need to put some conduit around and just clip this and tidy this up. So the Eli Tech controller will run off here. It doesn't even need to run the fridge. And then what we'll do is the pipe work is going to come through the bottom and then into the fridge, into said cask. I've got a small little CO2 bottle that will sit either inside or just outside, and we're going to use next to no gas. I mean, it's going to be running it, oh crikey, like 0.2 of a bar, nothing, absolutely nothing. So that's the idea. So we've got to shift all these out of the way, get the fridge in there and fit all this out. But that's the idea of what we're going to do here. So it's here, and then the Handpull's going to go there. So that's the plan. Okay, so this is kind of my thinking. So measuring up the Handpull, we've got the gap that's between here and here that we've got to clamp onto is 130 mil. So that's the depth we need of like the shelf, if you want to call it, for it to go on. Total width is 200 mil. I've added on 5 mil extra just to give it a bit of extra width. That gives some clearance away from the drip tray out the front, and the way that angles out, and there's some bolts on the side that need a little bit of clearance. So what I'm thinking is oh, and what are you doing, camera? So if this is going on its back against the cold room wall, and this is kind of facing outwards, what I think is we need like a shelf 205 wide, 130 deep, and because we just want such a small shelf, we won't just be able to connect it to that back wall and it'll have the strength it needs. I think we need to give it these legs. So what I'm thinking is to produce like these sideboards. The height will denote the height that it's going to get mounted at. 130 wide, going out to 160 is almost like a foot on the bottom. And then what we'll do is obviously these will be screwed together and fixed together. Then we'll put some L brackets, maybe 2 down each side, and then fix that to the back wall. So then that will again give us a counterlever. Bit of strength here. If I get this flush on the floor, when we're pulling down on this, it will push the heel of this into the back wall, which will be fixed, and pull that down, which should give us enough strength. We don't want it kind of wobbling around while you're trying to pull a pint, because there is a bit of resistance there. So that's kind of my thought. That's what I think. And funnily enough, I had a bit of a route around because I'm a bit of a hoarder. And when I think it was when I was building the bar, actually, the mobile bar, I've got a lovely big sheet, 20 mil thick OSB. It's like 1.5 high. Perfect. I'll be able to get the shelf and those like L-shaped feet out of it, and that should do it just fine. So the idea being it will go there. Just need to be conscious of where like the feet come out, so I don't want you to kind of walking into it. So I'm thinking, oh, we might actually put the Handpull a little bit higher up, so almost like the drip tray is almost kind of level with the current trays for the for the craft taps. So it's kind of a little bit higher up here. You're still kind of pulling pints. It's not quite the low satisfying, but I think from a usability and not getting in people's way and not impeding this space we've got here, I think this might be the best option. If I go high, I can always cut it down and lower the height afterwards. I can't put it up higher again without wasting timber. So I think that's the plan. So when I put it here up against the bar, you can see it's got this overhang, and then you've got, you can see that, you can see those bolts underneath that come up and clamp onto the worktop. So I feel like I just need to replicate that, but over there up against that wall. The only downside is that wall obviously isn't that strong, so I'm going to need something with some kind of integrity for when you're pulling on the hand pull. So this is it here. This is what I'm talking about. You've got this like overhang. So I kind of need to replicate that depth here, but it's still got a. It doesn't help that I've got this cap on, which I think has made it, yeah, seal. It's got a load of water inside it. Hang on. Probably gonna go pop now, isn't it? Because I've built up pressure in it. Maybe? I don't know. There you go. That's better. So you can kind of, you can really hear it draw, but it's still got an authentic, and it doesn't return. So you can hear it sucking. Awesome. But that's just so, that is the most satisfying thing. Oh yeah. But now, obviously, we need to replicate it and get it up on that wall over there. It would have been really nice to have had it on this side of the bar and have it up there so people could see it. But the difference, or the problem is, we couldn't find a way of having the cask or the corny keg or whatever on this side of the bar to be able to get the pipework to it, to then be able to get that right experience. So yeah, there was just no way of doing it. And we kind of struggled a little bit for space. So that's one of the things. If I ever kind of properly reorganize all of this stuff in here, I probably would have built in some more space for the bar. I think I'd never really imagined, stickers falling off. I never really imagined that the tap room bar would be as busy, or I knew it could be important, but I didn't think it'd be as busy as it is. When there's a couple of you behind here, it's a little bit cramped for space. That's why I think maybe the drip tray might end up being, got rid of. We've got some matting I want to put here behind the bar, and we might just have to see what it's like. After you pulled a pint, make sure you catch all the drips, maybe give it a wipe with a clean, quick wipe off the sparkler with a clean cloth or something after each pour, and then not have that extra risk. Although you've still got the swan neck will be there, so maybe actually it could be a good bit of protection so you're not knocking the swan neck. It's a voyage of discovery, right? We've got to try these things out. So yeah, so that's the idea, is that we are going to lose some of this stuff out of the way, all the hog lumps. They're gonna have to go somewhere else. I don't know where the hog lumps are gonna live. And then try and fit it on there. Yeah, interesting times. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think that's going to be the way forward. Just testing the Czech Pale Lager. You can see it's slowly clearing now. There's next to no kind of yeast or anything like that in suspension anymore. It's only that little bit of haze particles that need to drop out. I didn't want to fine it, and actually we capped the tank. So as fermentation was beginning to finish, we just capped off the tank, and that's when we did the step down. So we've got all of that natural carbonation forced into the beer. So it gives it a kind of a nicer, softer carbonation, and ultimately saves money because we're not having to pay to kind of, you know, pump CO2 in it to carbonate it. So coming along, it's not too bad. I think I used ALDC, so obviously it's really good. Key thing with this was, actually I forgot to mention, we were lucky enough to get one of the last trial packs of a new yeast strain coming from our friends at WHC. So they've managed to come up with a strain or isolate or whatever you want to call it of the Budvar strain. So this is using the genuine Czech Budvar wet yeast, 10 hectolitre pitch, so big old pitch for fermenting at 10 degrees in, yeah, a classic Czech pale lager. And you know, actually it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Might have liked to have got more Czech styles in there, but I think it's not too bad as a first attempt. And I think, again, given another 4 or 5 weeks to really dry out and condition, it should be good. Just enough bitterness, loads of malt character. Quite soft, actually. So this was 100% RO water we used for this, and then I built the water back up. Yeah, not bad. So yeah, so that's the plan. So let's get some video and let's get building. So time lapse later, and we're kind of about there. It's been a bit of a faff, but I think to make the most of what we've got, I think this is the way to do it. So I'm going to fix this to the back wall as well, so it's going to have some more strength from that perspective. But the idea of this is that, so I've recessed it back in a bit, so it's not poking out as much, because if I literally just made a shelf and then mounted it, it'd be sticking out, and it's like 130 mil, I think. So actually by making this box and then doing the recess on it, sits it back. And I didn't want to take it all the way. And actually, I might have spotted I cut. Where is it? I cut this one first, and I did it to the outline of the handpull. But then, of course, when I offered it up, what I realised was I had like a 2-3 mil gap all the way around the side. And actually, the way these edges work, actually having them just resting on top of the just resting on top of the shelf here, and actually give it some more stability. But yeah, there she is. Yeah, I quite like that. I might box down the front, maybe. I might even stick something down the back, sheet on the back, maybe, once it's in place if I need it. But if I show you where I'm going to put that, 6,300 steps, not enough today, but there we go. yeah. So the idea is we are going to stick this. We're going to have to find a different home for the bin, but hey. Mainly because with all of this, with I suppose it could go that way, couldn't it? But then, see, it's going to start interfering with this thoroughfare, as it were. So what we're thinking is, if the floor is really not level, so I've cut the bottom level, but I'm going to have to fiddle about with, well, I think fixing it to the wall there will make all the difference. But having that there like that will then mean that I could even take it back a bit further, actually, to be honest. So it's almost level there, because then you're going to be out the way of kind of bar work generally. You're not going to walk into the tray and hurt yourself. It's not going to interfere. So I might actually just screw that straight in place. Get my spirit level. Let's get it in and see how sturdy it is. You can't hear me because I'm walking around, obviously. But let's get a couple of big screws. It'll go all the way through. Hopefully my drill will... Oh, excuse me. It's not been bad, actually. And in a weird kind of way, I quite like these little builds, doing these little bits and pieces. It's kind of satisfying to kind of build something. And don't get me wrong, brew and beer is great. But how is that doing? Right. Bob on level. See, I have that. So yeah, so what I've done is by cutting this out, it will recess and sit over near the back. I've left this little gap here at the back so I can see what's going on with the pipes and stuff behind. So yeah, so that will then sit in through there, nice and stable now. So I'm going to stick the handpull back on. Oh, it's like a thing of beauty, this thing, I tell you. Look at that. Try and use this hand and then not get blood on it. Ow, did it again. Yep, still bleeding. So, glass, I'm pretty sure there's water, and if I take the cap off, this isn't a sparkler, this is just the protective cap. And the thread's massive. So then, oh yeah, look at that. What is not to love? Manky water. So yeah, I'll show you what I've been doing inside with the special cellar temp fridge, because I've got all that installed as well now. So let's do it. I suppose, I wonder if my hole saw would do it actually, if I hole sawed it through, because I could always just grip fill it afterwards. I could just hole saw it, couldn't I? And feed the whole thing through. That, so the same size hole saw I've used for when I fit the taps. This will be plenty big enough. That's the best way to do it. And then I can plug the hole up with silicone. Screwdriver to push out. In theory, there she goes. Oh, it's like a thing of beauty. Almost like I thought about it. Not really. So that connected onto there. So yeah, so we're through. That's it coming through there. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff going on there. Glad I covered that over. So now what I think we'll do is we'll get this to go in through there. Kind of like, well, keg height is going to be kind of about halfway up actually. Straight through there. And we should be good. I might just use the same hole saw actually, just literally go straight through the side. Yeah, let's do it. So I think, so if I get this in the position, oopsie, don't fall, because it's going to live about there, roughly. So it should have enough length to go inside. And I'm pretty sure, see the back feels cold, but I'm pretty sure these sides are literally just straight insulation. So should we get a corny keg? Got a corny keg here, let's get a corny keg for reference. So corny keg for reference. So height, it's going to be about there. So it's going to, we have the dispensing kegs here. And that's about the middle because that'll be at the back. Oops. Oh, yep. Yeah, just straight insulation. Didn't think there was any cooling channels. So that means, oh, it's a beautiful thing. And it's a little bit of a, that's fine because I can I could put some, I've got some white silicone at home, I could just white silicone it around if we feel we need to, but because it's not massive and it's going to do everything we need. There we go. So I might put I might get a corny keg, put some water in it, maybe some lime cleaner, and should we give it a test? Let's do that. So we're fully installed. I've hooked everything up. Now comes the moment of truth. Do we reckon it's going to work? What do we think? Quite pleased with it though. It looks good. I think it's going to be a nice spot in the bar, not going to be in the way as much as you can be in this quite tight space. People are going to see it when they come in. Get some stickers or something down the side there. I think it could be quite cool. Maybe even paint that black and chalkboard it. Actually, I think could be quite fun that side. Should we? I put the sparkler on as well, just because I thought, why not? I like the idea of having a sparkler on. Should we try and pull? Can you see? This is quite a monumental moment. Is it going to work? Hang on. Oh, hang on. No, nothing. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, it's got that satisfying kind of heft to it as well. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's tip this away. Oh, this is just... this is like a toy. I could just do this. It's nice and sturdy as well. It's not moving. It's not rocking around. It's got a really nice pulling through to that corny keg. It's got a really nice like back pressure to it. It's a proper satisfying pull. You're really sucking it through, which I think will help. So on that corny keg, we're going to put a tiny amount of pressure on it, just enough to replace the air. At the moment, I've got the pressure relief valve just lifted and open, so obviously it's drawing in air. But when we've got beer in there, we'll put a tiny amount of gas on it just to replace, obviously, what we're drawing here. But look at that! Wow, there we go. So that concludes this video. We're back. But yeah, we've installed a Cask Handpull in the tap room. So next thing is, apart from brewing some Cask beer on the big kit for the first time, I need to homebrew something to test this out. So that might be the next video. Thanks for bearing with me, watching these videos. It's been a while away for a little bit, but you know, we're back now. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share with all your friends. We're going to be doing some more kind of commercial brewing, homebrew content, all that sort of good stuff. Hopefully you like it. Shoot us a question down in the comments if you have any questions around this. And yeah, we'll see you soon.